Back here on NFL Fantasy Live, it is the very first of many preseason positional breakdowns, and it only makes sense to start with a guy who's throwing the ball. We're going to be breaking down quarterbacks, but don't worry, we got new position groups every single day. Are we ready for this quarterback chat?
Yes.
Positional breakdown, guys. All right.
I was told no nuance, though.
No nuance,
Speed
just straight speed. All right. What about the strategy in terms of when you should take a fantasy quarterback? I know the last few years things have been up in the air. Where do you stand on things, Cynthia?
Look, with these top guys, you could take them kind of, you have to look at who you're playing against. And if the people in your league are going to take all of the people you want to play with very early, well, then take the run there and you just have to sort of eat it. Yeah. I would say I'd go a little bit later if I could, because there's a lot of difference between quarterback like 2 and quarterback 7 every single season. But I will say, if it's going to make you more invested in your team and like really love your team more, then go get your Josh Allen, go get your Patrick Mahomes, and take the guy you want if it's going to make you really pay attention.
Especially if your scoring system is geared towards the high-end quarterbacks. I know in my league of record, which Mark DiPaolo won, even though he scored the fewest points of the season.
And now he has to pay.
And he has to pay. But here's my thing, is that if you play in a league where you get 6 points for passing touchdowns, you get bonuses for 300, 400, 500 yards, that whole notion of like wait on a quarterback goes out the window.
Right.
Because when you hear the hipsters or the analysts saying like, oh, wait on a quarterback, it's because they're going with a very basic scoring system. Just make sure you know your scoring system and you draft accordingly, which is why in that league I have to take Patrick Mahomes like in the 2nd or 3rd round, even though I wouldn't normally do that.
It makes it more fun if you like your quarterback.
The quarterback should be more important because they're important in the NFL, from what I've heard.
From what we know, they are very important. But say that you miss out on a guy like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. Do you guys have a breakout candidate this year that you think fantasy managers should have their eye on?
Well, I mean, have you seen? I have good hair today, and Trevor Lawrence has good hair every single day.
Ooh.
I love the opportunity for Trevor Lawrence to be a guy who I don't even think it's a stretch to say mid-season we could be like, wow, this guy is in the running for that really important title thing that happens in February, like MVP, not even kidding, not just your fantasy MVP. Why? Because I don't trust this Jags defense, which means the Jags offense is going to have to be absolutely lights out, which I think they will be. I think the Lawrence to Ridley thing is going to be something we are annoyed talking about by the end of the season.
No, I really love Trevor Lawrence, but one of the players I'm looking at is Tua Tagovailoa. I thought that last year in the early games, he was amazing. He was averaging about 20 fantasy points per game during that stretch. He really seemed to click with Mike McDaniel. And when you have weapons like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle,
helps.
It really does help. And I know that, a lot of people will shy away from him because of the injuries last year, and it makes sense. But if you're not a scaredy cat, if you're willing to go out there and take a risk, not be like, oh, I'm going to play it safe, I'm afraid to join you. You know what? Go with the lefty, because he's going to end up coming through. Unless you just don't trust me and don't think much of me as a human being, you will not shy away from Tua Tagovailoa.
Wow.
Right?
Very hot.
I'm just saying.
Really, yeah, that's great. A really good one. I appreciate your Tua chatter here. I'm going to take Derek Carr. You guys, I got to see him live in person yesterday in New Orleans, going up and getting the start against the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, I know it is a preseason game, and preseason games do not technically matter, but Derek Carr looked really good. If you saw that Saints offense when they took the field, they were playing fast, and I think that was an intentional move by head coach Dennis Allen to get some excitement around Derek Carr. He went 6 for 8 for 70 yards and a touchdown, hitting 5 different receivers, obviously also getting Alvin Kamara in the mix. I think he's playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder in New Orleans, and I love Derek Carr as a fun breakout. Plus, he's currently undrafted, so YOLO.
There it is.
Come on, there you go. All right, those were our breakout candidates, but on the flip side, what about some guys who maybe you're avoiding based on their current ADP?
Well, I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, but at his current...
Oh, you're doing it.
I'm doing it.
Oh, no.
I'm taking Dak Prescott right here.
Oh,
why?
That's so spicy.
Why
It's not that spicy, right? Like, he's the 10th quarterback off the board. I think that's high for a guy who really last year, look at it. He's missed 5 games and he was tied for the most interceptions. That is a historic number to lead the NFL missing 5 games. It is a historic number to throw all of those interceptions. So I'm just a little afraid about it. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. I'm not saying I'm just not taking him. He's not a top quarterback for me. He's maybe 15, 16. There are other guys who have way bigger upside.
All right, Ray, what about you?
I don't know. You know what? I like Geno Smith.
How dare you?
I love Geno Smith as a human being.
The 12s
and I
are going
love,
to come get you.
I loved that. Yeah, I don't care. I'm at war with the Mariners fans anyway, so might as well. How do the Seahawks have the best fans in football and their baseball fans are the worst? But in any event, Geno Smith last year had a magical season, and I don't want to discount what he was able to do, but I really do believe that the philosophy of Pete Carroll is to run the football. This team is going to get back at that, and I just don't think they're going to have as many opportunities. That's the thing. Like, I think Geno's fine, but I'm just not drafting him in fantasy. Well, you were going to say something too. What is it?
I'm going to say nothing except for 12s. His name is Adam Rank, not me.
They know me already.
Draft Geno.
They've already blocked me.
Draft Geno Smith.
You may block me after this
Why?
take.
Why would I possibly?
I'm a little hesitant on Tua. I know you said that's your
after
guy.
what I just said?
I know.
I said
It's so personal. She totally made it about you.
This is extremely personal. I put a personal plea for Tua Tagovailoa.
He's 15th. He's being drafted 15th.
It's because of this.
It's because of what? My only thing, it's the injury concern, which you
Every
5 seconds ago
quarterback
just
can get
said.
hurt.
When do we see him play a total, full, healthy season of NFL football?
NFL football.
Yeah, NFL football.
That's fair.
All right, thank you. Adam Frank, he understands me. This is so good. The show's going swimmingly, everybody.